In Yakuza 0, we are told that Makoto Makimura goes blind as a result of the physical and sexual abuse that she suffered at the hands of the Korean mafia. It's a tragic and heartbreaking thought to imagine someone going through so much stress to a point where the brain literally chooses to blind itself. But it does beg the question, is such a thing actually possible, or is it simply a plot device written for this game? Well, the short answer is yes, it's very real. This condition has had many names over the years, but is currently listed as conversion disorder in the DSM-5. However, since conversion disorders can also refer to afflictions not of a visual nature, we will refer to it as its common name, psychogenic blindness. Psychogenic blindness has actually been pretty well documented throughout the years. Perhaps the earliest recorded document that discusses psychogenic blindness comes from a Sanskrit book published over 3,000 years ago in 1300 BC. Even the great Sigmund Freud has explored this condition throughout his career. Of course, like many of Freud's theories, he believed the cause of psychogenic blindness was sexual in nature. He believed that when the eye becomes dominated by a desire of sexual sight, it becomes controlled by the sexual instinct in the unconscious. Since the ego no longer has control over the organ, it represses the sexual instinct by causing the eye to see nothing but blindness. Modern literature has done away with the sexual component of this condition and suggests instead that this blindness is a response to stressful conditions affecting the patient's mental health. The stressor can be anything that causes an individual to suffer a great stress, and the condition can last anywhere from a few days to a lifetime. Due to the nature of this condition, it's also hard to study and diagnose. However, there are a number of documented case studies throughout the years of individuals suffering from this condition. For example, during World War II, there was a German soldier who was placed on the firing squad that was ordered to shoot and kill Jewish people. The stress of this situation caused the soldier to go blind in his right eye overnight. His psychogenic blindness lasted 52 years. In another incident, a woman became psychologically blind due to the combined stress of her upcoming final exams and then learning that a loved one's life was in danger due to an illness. In a third incident, a woman became blind due to the stress of an accidental pregnancy, followed by a slip and fall in the bathroom that caused her to fear the well-being of her child. So yes, psychogenic blindness is a real thing. The next question then is, how is it treated? Well, there are two instances in the game where Makoto's vision returns. The first is after she touches Tachibana's cold body. After this, she tells us that light returned to her eyes, but everything was extremely blurry. Although I couldn't find any literature describing a situation like this in real life, which, is probably a good thing, it is possible that this partial restoration of vision is caused by emotion and motivation. You see, emotion can lead to motivational states, which causes changes in various aspects of experience, such as feelings, arousal, purpose, expression. Different emotions are associated with different goals and lead to different action behaviors. This is detailed in this chart here. As we can see from this chart, emotions can elicit many changes in experience, such as cognition, physiological activation, impulses to action, goal-directed motivational states, and many more. Makoto had already suffered through so much in her life and lost so many loved ones. Tachibana was the only person that she had left in the world, and so, when she felt his dead body, it triggered an intense hatred and anger in her, and her motivational state became one of revenge. As such, it is possible that her vision was partially returned due to the heightened arousal from a strong desire to seek revenge. In Makoto's case, she wasn't blinded by hatred, but motivated by it instead. Once the events of the game wrap up, Makoto regains her vision with the help of her doctor and future husband, Tateyama. Although the treatment is never explained in detail, it is probably safe to assume it was some form of psychotherapy. You see, psychotherapy and stress management has been found to be effective in treating psychogenic blindness and is commonly used to help an individual come to terms with their psychological trauma. Another method that has worked is educating the patient on their symptoms and reassuring them of their worries. For example, in the case of the pregnant woman's slip and fall in the example that I gave earlier, doctors conducted medical checkups on the fetus and found it to be in healthy condition. Doctors then reassured the woman that her baby was okay and a safe delivery was expected. This reassurance played a role in her gaining her vision back. We can extend this idea to the role Majima played in Makoto's vision returning. Makoto has lived a life full of traumatic events, but thanks to Majima's actions throughout the game, the people hunting Makoto have been stopped, and she is now able to live a normal life. Without any more threats out to harm her, she has found reassurance in the fact that her life will be okay. This is why the last scene in Yakuza 0 is so beautifully written, because it captures the essence of Makoto's story. Makoto's watch used to be a memento of a time where things were normal. She took the watch off and gave it over to Majima so that she could face the tragedy of her new reality. But thanks to Majima, the watch was fixed and returned to her, symbolizing the fact that her life could be normal again. Class, thanks for checking out this episode of Mental Minutes.